saying that a blue Toyota Tercel is parked at a neighbor's house and it does not belong there. The FBI, the sheriff's office, and the police departments all over Montana are like, here we go. Let's do it. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
How are y'all? Good. We're recording this on July 8th. Honestly can't talk about it too much, but I just wanted to say, Texas, love you.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, we have a bunch of listeners from Texas. And if y'all follow us on Instagram, you know that we've been posting about it, but
we'd be remiss not to talk about the flooding in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Happened 4 days ago. Camp Mystic. I actually cannot talk about it.
I know. It's okay.
But I was thinking about this because we did post like how to help, where to donate, because everyone was so sweet to ask for reminders of links. Someone has even reached out to be like, forever ago, y'all mentioned how to help Asheville with Hurricane Helene. Is that still going? Like, it was just, everyone's just so nice. So we'll make a highlight on our Instagrams of like donation links. Maybe some of them are still valid, maybe not. I don't know. But that way it's saved forever. But God, if you're impacted in any way, I think everyone is. Even just hearing about it, I'm so sorry.
we don't have a direct connection to anyone who, lost someone or, God, heaven forbid, a child, everything. Yet I cannot stop crying about it. So I mean,
that's why I'm like, everyone's impacted.
I can only imagine how people who do have a direct connection, how devastated they are. And I'm so sorry. And it's horrifying. And
we love y'all.
I love y'all. And yeah, it's just
unfair. Okay. Today, me, Rachel, am telling y'all about Anne Sluti.
Okay.
Sources: Omaha World News, KPLCTV.com, an ID show called Deadly Demands, a court document, an appeals document, bless them, and the Kearney Hub newspaper.
Tell me about this ID show. Okay.
I know. Okay, so I am going to say, because of the ID show, I'd never heard of it, but they were interviewing. They're interviewing a lot of investigators on this case, some FBI agents. I really wanted to hear what they said, but most importantly, they had all the recorded calls that I want to play during this episode. If you're new here, we don't usually play 911 calls or the like. I just find them really distracting and hard to understand 99% of the time. I do want to play them, and if you think maybe we can cut them, but I'm gonna summarize every single one afterwards. Because that's my biggest pet peeve is someone plays it and then they're like, I can't believe that. And I'm like, I can't hear shit. I don't know what they just said.
Right.
So I'll summarize each one after each one is played. But I wanted to know that because that's mostly what I use that ID show for. And then especially one of them that I can think of right now, there's like a little background music. I wish there wasn't, but there is.
Okay. Wow.
But I've just found it compelling.
Sure.
Again,
as long as you recap it afterwards.
Yeah, I'll recap it. And if you really are like, that is the worst, don't play that, we'll cut it.
Okay. But for real, what's that ID show called?
Deadly Demands. I think I don't know if it's new or there's only one season.
I just love when I come across a new show that has like 20, there's like random ass oxygen shows that have like 20 seasons. And it's something like, I don't know. A true crime with a plot twist series.
I know.
I'm like, what?
Not
literally that, but something that
unexpected killer, pretty damn close.
Unexpected killer is
damn
phenomenal.
This, from what I could tell, only has one season, so maybe you got the boot. This is episode 6, if you're curious. On April 6, 2001, Don and Elaine Sluti got a knock on their door at their home in Kearney, Nebraska. It was a police officer saying they had responded to a disturbance at the Hilltop Mall in which several people called saying there was a man beating up a young woman in the parking lot and trying to force her into his car. He had a gun and the woman was screaming for her life. It was clearly a kidnapping in progress.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, by the time police got there, the man was already long gone with the victim in tow, but all the woman's belongings were scattered on the ground, including a purse, and it belonged to their 17-year-old daughter, Anne Sluti.
So several people saw this, you said?
Yes. He had a gun, though. I do not know how no one stepped on. Well, yes, because a few people later say they didn't realize he had a gun. He did have a gun, though. He's big. They immediately called 911. Some of those 911 calls are on that ID show. I'm not playing the clips, but they were calling while they were watching it.
Even more so. I'm like, you didn't know he had a gun? I can't believe some guy wasn't stepping in and intervening and saying, get the hell off this woman. What are you doing?
I know. That's what I'm saying. If everyone knew he had a gun, I understand. But later people say they didn't know he had a gun. I'm like, so you didn't do anything?
Right. That's crazy.
Anyway, at least they call the cops.
No, sure.
At the very least.
Mm-hmm. You love to start with the crime, I'll tell you.
Well, isn't it horrifying?
Yes, it is. And it's compelling.
Anne, again, she's 17 years old. She was an honor student at Kearney High School, ranked 9th in her class of 360. She was also on the track team and worked part-time at a restaurant called Country Kitchen. The day she was kidnapped, it was a Friday, so she had just gotten home from school, and I believe she had a track meet that afternoon. So she had just gotten home, was planning to go meet some friends, but was stopping by the mall really quick to buy a new CD.
Classic.
I know, and I don't know which one. I feel like you were going to ask me that. I have no idea.
I really wasn't, but I can see why you thought that I would.
Well, I actually thought it might be somewhere because it was among the things scattered in the parking lot. So I thought the court document might list everything. I don't know.
Sure.
She had only been there for about 30 minutes and left around 7 p.m. So it was still light outside and the mall was busy, hence why there's so many witnesses. The witnesses said it was a large white man driving an older blue Suburban with Louisiana plates.
They're in Nebraska.
Yeah. He was dragging her into the car through the driver's side. And at one point, he got her in, but she slid over the seats and jumped out of the passenger side door. But he grabbed her and started punching her in the head and face, eventually knocking her out. And then he puts her in the car. And I don't know. I'm sure it went much faster than what I'm picturing in my head. But I'm like, and still no one is doing anything?
Punched her until she's unconscious, though.
Yeah. He's big.
Oh, God.
I know.
Can't be that quick, though.
I know. The police act quick, though. So within the hour, they set up a command post at the station. They asked her parents about any boyfriends, current or ex, anyone Anne had issues with. They said, no, none of that. She had a bunch of friends, no enemies. This appeared to be a complete stranger kidnapping, which police say in that situation, if the victim isn't located within 48 hours, as we know, it's likely that the victim will be killed.
Yeah.
The first thing they do is wire the Sluti's home phone to record all calls, hopeful that Anne contacts them or a ransom demand is made. They're not, I don't think, super rich or anything, but maybe anything. The goal obviously being to trace said call. Because of all the witnesses, they had enough information to develop a composite sketch and they immediately release it to the media.
Okay. License plate? Do they have the license plate?
No. Louisiana, that's all they know.
Not one person even thought to get the license plate?
Well, she was parked close to a loading dock, so I don't think there were a ton of cars right next to her except for the Suburban. So some, like the defense later will say, I don't even go into this, but I just know this, that so many of the witnesses were at least like 50 to 100 yards away that they're like, there's no way they saw everything they saw, whatever. I think she was parked kind of far away. I don't know. And
I don't mean to harp on the witnesses. I know, but I just can't imagine. At least I would like to think that at least someone screams like cops are on the way, something to deter her. It just baffles me.
I know. Kearney is small, especially at this point. So local media is all over the story and the town is devastated, obviously. 24 hours come and go. They haven't heard anything. They have no leads, no sightings, nothing. That night, Anne's older brother, Tom, had come home and they had some family friends over, plus the Sluti's house is crawling with investigators. So Don and Elaine need a break, and they went over to their neighbor's house for a couple of minutes. And while they were gone, just before 10 p.m., 27 hours since the kidnapping, the phone rings.
Oh, shit.
One of the family friends answers it, and here's the recording.
Again, she will recap this.
I will recap it, and this is the one that I remember, I believe, has like the most background music. You know, it's like intense music.
Hello?
Is Elaine there?
She's not here right now.
Do you know who this is?
Is it Anne?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Oh, Anne, where are you?
I'm okay.
Are you? Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
How can we get you here?
Hopefully soon.
Are
I've
you
not
with someone?
heard anything, but I better go, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Holy shit.
I know. So it's, she said, is Elaine there? Which was weird. That's her mom's name. She doesn't call her mom by name. So they're like, that's weird. But it's a huge relief she's alive. She says she's not hurt. The family friend says, how can we get you home? And she says, I'm okay, but I have to go now. And it ends quickly. Again, unusual call, her calling her Elaine, but she's okay. She's not hurt.
Seems very calm.
She's very calm. Unfortunately, the call was about 2 seconds too short to trace.
Well, look, shut the fuck up. That's always the issue.
I know. Only a few minutes after that phone call, Anne's best friend, Janessa, got a call. This one isn't recorded, but in it, Janessa asks where she is, and the call is immediately cut off.
Oh, my God.
Over the next several days, they're anxiously waiting for another call, but they never get one. A gas station attendant in northern Nebraska, not far from the South Dakota border, reported that a man in an older Suburban stopped and asked for directions, but the attendant looked at the Suburban and said no one else was in it. A little further north in Springview, Nebraska, which is almost 3 hours away from Kearney, there was a reported older blue Suburban crashed into a ditch. But by the time anyone got out there to go check on it, it was gone. There was later a piece of chain found in the ditch, and that was turned into the sheriff. Also in Springview that same day, a truck was reported stolen and a front loader, like the big-ass construction vehicle.
Okay.
By April 8th, 48 hours after the kidnapping, which again is the time the police did not want to get to because statistically it becomes a recovery, not a rescue. There's still no word from Anne, and the town is rallying behind the Sluti family for support. Everyone puts up a yellow ribbon. It's exactly like when Natalie went missing. Her friends made yellow, purple, and green ribbons that everyone wore, and they picked those colors because they're the Scooby-Doo colors, and Anne loves Scooby-Doo.
I love that.
I know. They're trying to be hopeful, but at one point her mom asked her friend to help her find a black dress for Anne's funeral.
Oh, God.
I know.
Oh, if she called, I would hold on to hope.
I know.
I love the Scooby. She's like a innocent true crimer.
I know. That's what I was like, that's so interesting because obviously Scooby-Doo is a world-renowned investigator.
He's the Keith Morrison of Cartoon Network.
Keith isn't an investigator. Can't think of anyone else. He's the Matt Murphy's not either. Fuck.
Oh, but he's closer. He's a friend. No,
he's a prosecutor.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, but what can you do? He's a well-known guy that's into true crime. As is Scooby.
On a show about investigations.
Exactly.
As is Scooby.
Okay, you're Scooby. Right.
But then a 911 dispatcher almost 900 miles away gets this call.
Oh, shit.
Again, I'll recap it.
Are we in Montana?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I need help.
Okay.
Been kidnapped. The guy's upstairs.
Who is this?
Anne Sluti.
And do you know where you're at?
No. I'm out in the country. I just have...
Okay, and who took you?
His name's Tone, and I don't know his last name.
And where did he take you from?
Kearney, Nebraska.
Is he there right now?
Yes.
Does he have any weapons?
Yes. Guns and knives.
Has he threatened you?
Not lately.
Okay, is he like a boyfriend or something?
No, I
Or?
have no idea who he is. He's a complete stranger. It's really big though and scary.
Okay. When did he take you?
Okay. That one's the hardest to hear because she
Yeah.
has to whisper. But she immediately asked the 911 dispatcher if they're in Montana, which
heard
the
that.
dispatcher
Okay.
confirms, yes, they are. She tells him her name is Anne Sluti and she was kidnapped from Kearney, Nebraska, and her kidnapper's upstairs. The dispatcher asked if she knew who he was, and Anne said, no, he's a complete stranger. All I know is his name's Tony. The dispatcher asked if he has weapons. She says, yes. She says, has he threatened you? Anne says, not lately. And then the dispatcher asks, when did he take you? And she immediately hangs up.
Oh, God. Yeah, I didn't hear any of that, really.
That one's the hardest here because she's whispering.
Yeah.
They trace the call to a remote cabin in Livingston, Montana, and realizing it's this 17-year-old girl who has been taken across state lines, a SWAT team is en route to the cabin, and the FBI is called to join the investigation.
Fuck yeah.
Just after 8 p.m., they surround the place and can hear voices inside the cabin, so they bust in, and it turns out to be a radio. Tony and Anne were gone.
God, they were able to pinpoint it. That must be the only cabin near that cell tower.
There's a lot of rural cabins we're going to talk
Okay.
about. Yeah, but it was a landline. So yeah, they traced it to the address.
Oh, it was a landline. Okay.
Yeah, this is 2001.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, I know, but yeah. The SWAT team starts clearing the cabin and they find that Anne's name is etched into the windowsill.
And hell yeah.
So they're like, thank God she's still alive. Who the fuck is Tony?
Right.
One of the investigators remembers that about a month before, there was a multi-state manhunt for a fugitive with a similar string of crimes, stolen cars, staying one step ahead of police, and most concerning, he was violent. This manhunt started in Minnesota, so they call Minnesota State Police and say, hey, what was that guy's deal? Send us his name, send us his picture, all of it. Minnesota says, no problem. The fugitive's name is Anthony Stephen Wright, but he goes by Tony Zappa.
Okay, let's go get him. How long has she been missing? When was she kidnapped again at this point?
April 6th, 2 days ago. It's been 48 hours.
Okay. So he's already in Montana. This is 2 days later?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They're almost 900 miles away.
Wow. Okay.
So Minnesota police give the name. Yeah, it's this guy. He goes by Tony Zappa. He's a real piece of shit. Who's Tony Zappa? Well, he's a 29-year-old from Minneapolis and was a career criminal. He had a long history of evading police starting from when he was a teenager. Mostly it was nonviolent crimes, but eventually it got violent, which I'm going to tell you about in a second. But first, I just wanted to tell you the story about in October 1999, while running from Wisconsin police, he jumped into the St. Croix River, which runs along the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota.
God, this guy's everywhere, all over the Midwest.
It's crazy. He swam over to the Minnesota side, but Minnesota police were waiting for him over there. So he swam back and forth. He said, what a stooge. He swam back and forth knowing they weren't going to jump in this freezing ass river because, again, it's October. But he eventually developed hypothermia and he had no choice but to surrender. Like, he's such
my God.
What a buffoon.
Wow. Yeah.
That's really, I just picture this idiot and these, I mean, freezing waters going back and forth thinking he's being smart, evading two different state polices, and then just passes out because of hypothermia. He's like, this shit's cold.
Right. Wow.
Anyway.
The cops don't care. They're like, you're either going to die or surrender.
I know.
So win-win
Right.
for us.
Right. At the time of Anne's abduction, he was wanted in 5 states for car theft, assault, burglary, possession of an automatic weapon, and flight from arrest. Boy, I'll say.
Yeah.
And he had been on the run for about a month before he took her from the Hilltop Mall. It all started in March 2001 when he failed to show up at 2 court hearings. So 5 bounty hunters went to go get him and a scuffle ensued. Tony's big. He's 6 feet tall, 247 pounds of pure muscle. At one point, he was a champion boxer. He's jacked.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Finally, one of the bounty hunters hits him with a stun gun, but it's no match.
No.
He gets away, runs to the bounty hunter's car, and takes off with it.
Shut up. How do you always find these Michael Myers fuckers to do a story on?
Not sure. A few weeks later, on March 19th, he was captured in St. Paul, Minnesota, but somehow escaped again. I don't have those details. The next day, there was a reported sighting of him at the Mall of America, which, if you're an international listener, the Mall of America is the biggest mall in the U.S. It's 5.6 million square feet.
Is that right?
Yes. There's a roller coaster inside. There's a whole thing. I've never been.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole to do.
I wonder if it's failing like all the other malls in America. Is that one thriving? I don't know. Y'all let us know. Minnesotians, let us know.
I kind of want to say COVID had some serious negative effects on it, obviously, as it did for everything. But, it is still open? I was about to say, I might even close.
No, I looked up the square footage. Shockingly, I didn't know that off the top of my head. I had to Google it. And it was definitely still open. It was promoting all sorts of shit.
Oh, great. So why'd you ask if it's thriving?
Because that doesn't mean it's thriving. The Asheville Mall is still open, and I'll tell you, it's not thriving. It's open. It's not thriving. Anyway, so someone spots Tony there. Again, big ass mall. So police shut down the entire mall. I can't imagine how they got all those people out in 2001.
Oh my God.
100 cops walked through it and start looking for him, but he had changed clothes in one of the 15,000 department stores and slipped out undetected.
He's a mannequin.
Joke was on them because he was posing as a mannequin. God, that would be funny. Damn it.
Then I would be on his side. It would be hard not to be on his side.
I mean, based on this guy, he was probably riding the roller coaster and refusing to get off. They couldn't get him. They saw him. They just couldn't get him.
That he was at the top and wouldn't get off?
Like that he just kept riding it round and round and round, refusing to get off. They're like, we have him, but we just can't get him. So they just left.
He's tricky. He's tricky, but he likes to have fun too.
Yeah, he's laughing. Y'all, with this, nothing about this story is funny, but I'd love to make fun of like buffoons like this.
Yeah.
And he is a buffoon, obviously. So after this stint in the Mall of America, Tony finally called and said, okay, I'm going to come turn myself in. Obviously, he didn't show up.
Right.
Instead, he went to Idaho Springs and stole a car that was later found in a ditch in Lakewood, Colorado.
God.
From Lakewood, Colorado, he stole an RV and drove it all the way to Louisiana, where he broke into the home of Frank and Joyce Landry. They were an elderly couple, and I guess he was surprised that they were home because he beat them up severely and stole their car, a Suburban. The couple had to go to the hospital, and Frank eventually died from his injuries.
No.
So let's throw a murder charge to this dipshit.
Okay, get this guy off the street. Let's hurry.
I know. Now you don't think the Mall of America was very funny, do you?
No, I don't.
And how the F is he able to bounce around the country like this in a matter of days? I mean, state to state. On April 3rd, he left Louisiana and headed to Nebraska, where 3 days later, on April 6th, he parked the stolen Suburban at the Hilltop Mall right next to Anne's car.
He doesn't sleep. He just does meth all night and just drives.
I don't know. So the FBI and police from Nebraska and Montana learned that this is who has Anne, and they're like, shit.
Yeah.
He's definitely armed and incredibly dangerous. All search efforts moved to Montana, and the day after the 911 call, so 3 days after her abduction, a man named John Kuhn, who lives in Belgrade, Montana, calls police to say that a man and a younger woman just knocked on his door looking for someone, but they had the wrong address. They left without incident, but John couldn't help but notice the girl had a bad black eye and was visibly uncomfortable. He told police she seemed like she may be in danger. Oh, and they were driving an older Suburban.
Mm.
And that's, by the way, these areas I'm talking about, Montana, there are a lot of vacation homes. They're very rural. So this time of year, a lot of the cabins are empty. So investigators are thinking that Tony's just hopping from one empty cabin to another with Anne breaking in and hiding out for a couple of days and then moving on to the next.
What if you're one of those owners and you're just going up for the weekend, a lovely vacation at your mountain house, and you walked in and it's been like lived in?
Oh, I know.
That is so eerie.
I know. It's sick. And a lot of people report that, as we learn. Like, someone definitely broke into my cabin. But so that's his MO. But this John Kuhn guy just happened to be there by surprise.
Yeah.
Soon after he made that call to police to report the suspicious visit and the girl with the black eye, someone who lived near him reported that their blue Toyota Tercel had been stolen. And again, other residents in the area were reporting break-ins where their guns were stolen or camping equipment was stolen. And the string of break-ins could be unrelated, but in this area, not likely.
Yeah.
So this made investigators really nervous, considering how close they were to Yellowstone National Park.
Oh,
because if Tony takes Anne out into Yellowstone, the hunt's going to be much harder.
Yeah.
Much harder. On day 4 of her abduction, investigators are led to another cabin located at Salmon Lake, Montana. They bust in. Again, no sign of Tony or Anne or anyone. It's empty. But in the cabin, there's women's underwear with semen on them.
Ooh.
There's a note on the kitchen windowsill that says Anne Sluti was here April 2001.
Oh, wow.
And most heart-wrenching, there's a note written in a book that says, Anne Sluti, 4/10/01, help. I love my mom, my dad, and my brother.
Oh, my God.
They're like, fuck.
Oh.
I know. At this point, the news all over the Midwest and beyond is reporting Anne's kidnapping, the manhunt for Tony Zappa, his pictures everywhere, the fact that they're likely in an older model blue Suburban or a blue Toyota Tercel that's blasted everywhere. There are sightings of him buying ammunition. But again, he's one step ahead of the hundreds of police officers looking for him.
Wow.
On day 5, which is April 11th, 2001, police got a call from someone at Flathead Lake, Montana, which is 1,200 miles away from Kearney, saying that a Toyota Tercel, a blue Toyota Tercel, is parked at a neighbor's house and it does not belong there. The FBI, the sheriff's office, and the police departments all over Montana are like, here we go.
Let's do it. Load up the chopper.
Oh,
we ride at dawn.
That they do. They immediately set up a perimeter, blocking off all roads leading to and from this cabin. The place is surrounded from the street and the air, and it's not the SWAT team secretly surrounding it to bust in. It's nighttime, the cabin is dark, and it's surrounded with blue lights. There are spotlights on the house at all angles, and a negotiator's on the megaphone telling Tony to surrender. He's saying, let Anne go, let us see Anne, let us see that she's okay. Over and over, they're making these announcements, but no one is budging.
Oh, shit.
There's no movement, and this goes on for hours until the local sheriff's office gets this 911 call.
Oh, my God.
Hello? Yes?
Anne?
Yes? Where are you?
I'm here at the sheriff's office. You understand that we have officers outside?
Yes.
Okay. How can we help you, Anne, resolve this and with the individual that you're with? Does he want to talk to us?
Yes. No, hold on. No, he doesn't.
We don't want to see anyone get hurt, Anne, okay?
Me neither. Nobody's hurt right now.
Right, nobody's hurt now, and that's the way we want to keep it.
Yep.
Is there anything that we can get for either one of
Yeah.
us?
Can you tell them to quit bothering us outside? They have a loudspeaker thing. They're just saying the same thing over and over and over again.
Okay.
If anybody comes out, you're not going to shoot, are you?
No,
Okay,
we're not.
Don't.
No, we won't do that at all.
Oh, God. Wait, she called them?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
oh, my God.
She's put in charge by Tony of negotiating her own release because he doesn't want to talk to him. She's calm and collected and asked them to please stop yelling into the mic. To the megaphone. She said, can you tell them to stop bothering us outside? They're saying the same thing over and over and over again. And I guess it was freaking him out. So then she confirms she's not hurt. They say, yeah, we want to keep it that way. And she's like, yep. They asked to speak to him. And that's what you hear him say. No, I don't want to. Like, he is freaking out in the background.
Oh, he's becoming unhinged. That is the creepiest.
They're very scared of that. She says, yeah, no one's hurt. Let's keep it that way. And then she confirms that no one will be shot if they walk outside, to which he says, no, we're not going to shoot. She like makes him confirm that. This standoff goes on for 11 hours with Anne as the go-between.
Oh my God.
Anne finally convinces Tony to get on the phone, and cops see firsthand what a little bitch he is. Here's that whiny ass clip.
This is what I'm excited about. This is the only one I'm really excited about.
Hello, Mike. Hey, Tony. How are you doing? Good. Okay,
Tears?
It's going to be okay, Tony. I want to walk out, but every time I go by the door, I'm scared they're going to shoot me. You're going to be fine. We're not going to do that, Tony. Okay? Every time I go by the door, I'm scared. You'll be fine. I feel like the second it opens up, they're just going to open fire. No, they won't do that, Tony. Tell them not to hurt me? Yeah, they've already told not to hurt you. The sheriff is saying absolutely. Okay? I'll be here waiting for you, Tony, okay? Okay.
What a little bitch.
He has to talk to him like he's a toddler. So Tony's crying and tells the negotiator on the phone that he's scared he'll walk out and they'll open fire. That's what he says. He makes them confirm again that they won't shoot him, which they promise again that they're not going to. He said every time he looks out the window, he's scared.
Scared.
And now the police officers are like, I'm sorry, this is the big scary criminal?
Fugitive?
His teenage victim is more composed than he is. One of the FBI agents said on that show, quote, he probably doesn't even know how to use a gun. He's scared to death.
But honestly, what is it with these? Brian Koberger too. It's like, you're scared to die. I'm scared to get shot. You have been a menace to this entire country, several states.
I know.
Fuck you.
That's insane considering how often you run from police.
Right. You know that's the risk when you run. What? You're a very dangerous fugitive who has now murdered someone. So,
right. He doesn't know that at this point. But
he doesn't know that guy died. Oh, yeah.
No. How would he? Lastly, this is what he says to police. It's not in that clip. But Tony tells them that in order to surrender, besides not being shot, my God, he wants to serve his prison time in Minnesota. I don't know why, but they're like, great, not a problem. Finally, at 3:15 a.m., Anne walks out of the house, and when she reaches one of the officers, she hugs him and bursts into tears, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank God it's over.
Oh, God.
After she walks out, he follows behind and lays on the ground to be cuffed. He's charged with federal kidnapping and brandishing a firearm and pleads not guilty, which is rich.
Oh, great.
But as they prepare for a trial, we get the entire story from Anne's point of view. So some of the questions of what, like the missing the stolen front loader, for instance, I'm going to answer all those. After she was knocked out from being thrown into the car, they drove for several hours before she came to and woke up on the floorboard of the car with her arms and legs bound with chains. They stopped at the gas station where the attendant said nobody else was in the car, but that was because she was lying down in the back. Mm-hmm. They kept going north, and just before the South Dakota border, he accidentally rolls the Suburban into a ditch. Neither of them were hurt, so he grabs Anne, still chained, and they walk to a nearby farmhouse where he cuts the phone lines and steals a pickup truck. He then tries to use the pickup truck to get the Suburban out of the ditch, but it doesn't work. I guess he had rope or something, tried to pull it.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't work. Then his plan gets real dumb. He drives the pickup truck into town. The town is Springview, Nebraska, and steals an unattended front loader.
Oh my God.
He ditches the pickup truck and drives the front loader back to the Suburban. And this is how he got it out of the ditch. He flipped it upright from the side. Why he didn't just take the pickup truck, don't know.
Right. He cut their phone lines and everything. They can't call to report that.
And it was late. Like,
Oh,
what?
what are you doing?
Do you think no one's going to notice a front loader driving? Well, I guess sometimes you'll see a tractor driving down a road sometimes.
Saw it the other day.
Yeah, never mind. That wouldn't stick out at all, and like especially in a rural area.
No.
Duh. So anyway, just a terrible plan, but
Right.
it worked. They got back in the Suburban.
Wait,
but
but
not
you said
before,
he left a chain? Oh, you're about to tell me, aren't you?
That's what I'm about to say.
Okay.
They got back in the Suburban, but not before Anne leaves her first of many breadcrumbs for investigators to find. While he was distracted figuring that out, getting the car out of the ditch, she was able to take off one of the chains on her wrist and she threw it in the ditch. A neighbor found the chain and gave it to the sheriff. I'm guessing because it was all over the news at this point. I don't know what else would prompt someone to find a chain and give it to the sheriff. But I think because it was reported there was a Suburban in a ditch.
Mm-hmm.
They go and they're like, the Suburban's not here. And someone else well, there was a chain. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, they did turn it in. They drove into South Dakota and the next day stopped in a field where he bound her hands behind her back very tightly with duct tape and did the same thing to her legs in several places. I think her thighs and her ankles were bound. Then he starts fucking with her. He tells her, I'll make you a deal. If you can get the tape off, I'll let you go. There's a barbed wire fence nearby, so she hops over to it and tries to use it to cut the tape, but it doesn't work, and she ends up cutting her hand and wrist pretty badly. She asked him to please take the tape off because it was so tight, it was really hurting her, and he told her that she whined too much, which, given that call that he had,
with
that's
the negotiator,
shocking. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Right. You're about to hear a lot of whining in a little bit.
Oh my God.
During trial. Just wait.
Wait to make fun of this guy.
God. Finally, he agreed to take the duct tape off, but he couldn't even get it off. He tried a key, cutting it with a key, didn't work. He found some broken glass and tried a shard of glass, didn't work. He even had a razor blade, did not work. That's how much he wrapped it.
God.
Finally, he ended up burning it off with a lighter and in the process burned her arm. Later that night, just before 10 p.m., Tony told Anne to call a friend and tell the friend that she was going on vacation and that she's fine. This was his attempt to ward off the search, I guess, but unbeknownst to him, the search was very much on. She's a 17-year-old high school student.
Who was seen by several getting her
screaming,
ass kicked and dragged into a car. So thanks, but no thanks. How did this guy evade police for so long?
I don't know. Before giving her the phone, he warned her that if she calls her house, he'll kill her. She could only call a friend, not her parents, obviously not police. So Anne, being a badass, said, sure, and called her house asking for her mom by name because she knew he wouldn't know her mom's name. That's why she said Elaine there.
Perfect.
Smart.
Yeah.
She didn't mention the vacation in that call that I played for y'all. So he got pissed and made her do it again. And this time she really does call a friend. She calls Janessa. And when Janessa's like, holy shit, where are you? He forced her to hang up. The next day they drive to a remote area in the woods. And during a lot of this driving, he puts duct tape over her eyes. So she has no idea where they are. Mm-hmm. He pulls her out of the car and starts cutting her clothes off. She begs him not to rape her, telling him that she's a virgin, to which he says, no, you're not, and does it.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Afterwards, he tells her that they're going to go into the mountains and he planned to rape her 4 times a day, which is terrifying.
God. Yeah.
They find the empty cabin in Livingston, Montana, and when he goes upstairs to scope out the place, she uses the opportunity to etch her name in the windowsill to leave another clue for the investigators, and then notices the kitchen phone. So she turns on the kitchen sink and a radio to make some noise and immediately calls 911. That's when she asked if they were in Montana, because again, she had no idea where they were.
Wow. She is so brave.
I know. The reason she hung up when the dispatcher asked when he took her was because Tony walked in.
I figured, yeah.
So he's losing it, yelling at her if she called the police, to which she admits she did. I mean, well, it's an easy redial. Can you imagine if she was like, no, I swear to God.
Yeah.
All it is a redial. Like, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So they leave the cabin, leaving the radio on, which is why the SWAT team heard voices. After the 911 call, Tony took Anne to go find another cabin to stay in. And along the way, he's breaking into all these other homes, again, stealing guns, camping equipment. And at one of those cabins, he rapes her for the second time. Then they drive to Belgrade, Montana, and knock on the door of what he hopes is an empty cabin. But again, John Coons answers, and he asks for Danny, to which John's like, wrong house.
Yeah. And I know all my neighbors, and there's not a Danny, probably.
Right. So love his proactivity, because after this, he was like, I don't like that. I don't like what I saw. I don't like that she had a black eye. No.
Right. Yeah.
Having this full ass conversation with John spooked Tony. So he decides to ditch the bourbon for good and steals a blue Toyota Tercel that was parked nearby.
Yeah.
They drive it up to Salmon Lake, Montana, where he found a cabin. And the first thing he does when he got there is smash the phone and put it into the stove and turns the stove on to burn it. I guess because she called 911 before.
Yeah, yeah.
He also burned all the clothes he originally cut off of her. After that, he raped her for a third time, and realizing that he's starting to destroy evidence, she secretly takes her underwear, which she knows has semen on them, and puts them in the kitchen trash, hoping it would eventually be found. Obviously not by home, which it wasn't.
Oh my God. She is very smart.
I know. She also left her at this cabin, also left her two final clues behind. In the book, she wrote, Anne Sluti, 41001, help. I love my mom, dad, and brother. And then put a note on the kitchen windowsill saying Anne Sluti was here April 2001.
Yeah.
Again, both
what
of
is
them
she
later.
etching the things with? Like a fingernail?
Maybe a key.
Oh, okay.
The last one, I couldn't tell if she etched into a windowsill or she actually had a piece of paper and hid it like behind something on the windowsill.
Yeah.
But I know the first one, it was like carved. After 2 days at this cabin, they leave and drive even further north of Montana. He stops to buy ammunition because ever since the 911 call, ever since she admitted it, he's telling her, I have no choice but to kill you. They find yet another cabin, and this is the final cabin where the standoff takes place, Flathead Lake. At one point, Tony goes to the bathroom, so Anne turns on the TV really quick to see if there's anything on the news about her, and turns out it's very big news. The first thing she sees is Tony's name and picture blasted out, and it says to be on the lookout for either an older blue Suburban or blue Toyota Tercel. Tony comes out of the bathroom, and before she could turn off the TV, he sees it, and he gets pissed.
Yeah.
He's freaking out. Now they're hot on his trail, and he knows it. He looks at Anne and says, oh, if we're going to get caught, we might as well have some fun. And he told her to take her clothes off, to which she said no. So he did it for her, and he raped her for the fourth and final time of her captivity.
What an asshole.
I know. The next day, they got the call that a blue Tercel was parked at a neighbor's house in Flathead Lake, and the 11-hour standoff ensued. So Tony is in custody, and Anne was treated at a local hospital. All in all, she was okay. And she was able to return home on April 14th, 2001. When the FBI jet landed in Kearney, she came out to a crowd of people, pretty much the whole town, holding signs, cheering, saying, welcome home. She's like in an FBI hat. You can see the black eye.
Oh, God.
But she's smiling. She's happy.
Yeah.
The night they were reunited, the Sluti, her family actually went up there, obviously, and then they all came back on the jet. But the night they went up there, they ordered Chinese food takeout, and Anne's fortune cookies said, your luck has been completely changed today.
No.
I know.
That gave me goosebumps.
Isn't that crazy? Tony's charged with federal kidnapping and brandishing a firearm. I don't know why he's not charged with breaking and entering, burglary, stealing cars, rape, endangerment of a minor, rape. Well, yeah, I everything. I think, you'll hear the defense. I don't know, but these are the most serious, and he is facing life. So I get, maybe the family was like, whatever the max is, just give it to him. His trial started in June 2002, and just before his trial was scheduled to start, U.S. Marshals were bringing him back to prison after a court hearing when he somehow got out of their grasp and bolted.
No. U.S. Marshals?
Yes. Again, he's obsessed with running from police, which is weird as shit considering he is so scared of being shot. But don't worry. Don't worry. Again, he's a stooge. He was handcuffed and in shackles, and they were in the prison parking lot. So he was literally, they said maybe 60 seconds he was free, and they got him. They were like, that's cute. Nice try.
Are ballsy for being so weak. Wow. I can't believe the marshals didn't shoot him. At least in the leg.
No,
come on.
It was so easy. It was too easy.
No,
he was
but like,
where was he going?
Enough. We're sick of you. You are a nuisance. I'm going to shoot you at least in the leg. Come on.
They're nowhere near done with him.
God.
So they're like, that was adorable. I think they actually tried to get a charge added for trying to flee, but it didn't work.
They like casually walked over there and just stuck their foot in between the shackles, so he tripped.
Oh my God, he probably tripped on his own, and they're like, do you want us to get you up? Or should we have trial right here? Just lay there. I don't give a shit. So the trial starts again in June 2002, and it is batshit. About 30 seconds into the second day, the jury has just been seated. Everyone's just waiting for the first testimony when Tony looked at the judge and yelled, quote,
"Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hey, Captain Kangaroo, what the fuck is with all the prejudiced people in this case? I'm tired of these idiots in there." And he couldn't finish his sentence before marshals stepped in and dragged him out of the room, but he continued yelling his thought. "This is the most prejudiced court I've seen in my life. This whole state is prejudiced, and I hope you all rot."
Oh my God. What is the matter?
Oh my God.
Guy?
He wasn't allowed in the courtroom the rest of the day and had to watch testimony from a TV in a holding cell, like the animal he is.
Right.
He had several interruptions throughout trial like this. At one point, he demanded that a female juror be removed because she smiled at the prosecutor.
Wow.
He called
You're a loose cannon, sir. And you need to shut your fucking mouth.
He also complained to the court that his attorney was incompetent and ineffective. He did this several times out loud and even filed a formal complaint to get a new public defender, but it was denied. So he took matters into his own hands. And on day 8 of trial, he punched his attorney in the face during trial.
No.
Punched him in the face.
Why is this guy not shackled? Again, it's just constantly my question in our latest episodes.
I know.
Why aren't you shackled to the table?
He's shackled and I believe handcuffed. I think maybe in the front. I don't know how he got a swing in.
He should be chained to the chair. This is like insane.
I know. The prosecutor was cross-examining a witness for the defense when all of a sudden Tony jacked his own attorney in the face and yelled to the judge, "I want these guys off my case now."
Wow.
Again, 5 marshals jumped him and restrained him, and eventually he was taken out of the courtroom, strapped to a stretcher, mumbling to himself. He went to a local hospital for observation, and court was recessed that day.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, settle the fuck down.
Right. He has no case. Like, it kind of reminds me of Kai's episode when he has outbursts about how corrupt how corrupt the court system is and blah, blah, blah. But he had a case. Like you have repeatedly run from us, even today, just today. Yeah. You've raped, murdered. Okay.
Well, he pled not guilty. I think he, in his version of a prejudiced jury, that they're maybe using past convictions against him because they did try to have this trial moved because there was so much media coverage, which it was denied. He said he was denied right to a speedy trial. Right? No, they're in Nebraska.
Oh, they're in Nebraska right now, but he wants to be in prison.
He wants to be in prison in Minnesota. Okay. But he's just saying, like, everything that's been unfair to him, I'd say whining more, has been unfair. The judge at one point is like, "We're cutting off your mic."
Yeah,
stop talking.
Right. Did Nancy Grace cover this case?
What?
Did Nancy Grace cover this case?
I don't know. If you
just love her 2 cents on it.
Oh my God. If you think your defense attorney is ineffective, quit doing shit like this because you're not doing anything to help them.
No, you're not.
So whatever. So yeah, 5 marshals jumped him. He gets carried out, taken to the hospital. No court that day.
You mentioned a speedy trial when he was arrested, and then how soon after?
Was just over a year.
Oh, okay.
I know.
That's speedy, son. Sorry.
I know. Look at trials lately. He said he was denied due process. He has a whole list of complaints that no one gives a shit about.
Right.
That's all.
Okay.
During trial, like the actual trial where people get to do their jobs and not have to babysit this toddler having a fit, his defense, this is fucking ridiculous, argued that Anne went with him willingly and all the sex was consensual. It was clear she had been abused in every sense of the word, in every way, bound by chains. There were marks all over her. Again, the black eye. She'd obviously been beat up. Several witnesses said, no. This was not her going willingly. She was screaming for help. It was force. And then again, all the clues left behind by Anne. Fingerprints all over the cars he stole, all over the cabins, DNA everywhere. Okay.
The 911 calls that she secretly called. I mean, come on. But then again, like, what are you going to say? They have nothing. They're just shooting in the dark here.
Oh, right. So that was, what can they do? Tony was convicted of kidnapping and brandishing a firearm. Again, don't know why he didn't get the rest, but he got the maximum sentence, which was life without parole plus 7 years. He's currently serving his time in a federal prison in Kansas, so not Minnesota. Which I love. They're like, we're not going to shoot you in Minnesota. You got it. You're going to trial for this in Nebraska. You're not spending your life sentence in Minnesota. What are you thinking?
Based on your request alone, shut up. You do what you are told. This guy's not good with structure, so prison life is probably not so good.
Right. Well, in 2000, I'm not even done. In 2002, he was charged with the second-degree murder of Frank Landry in Louisiana. But his widow, who is also the only witness, at this point was pretty old and really did not want to testify, understandably. And without her, they had no case. So prosecutors sat down with the entire family and they all agreed it was fine to drop the charges considering he was already serving life in prison with no parole.
Yeah.
So they're happy with it.
Okay.
Anne and the officers who helped save her were honored by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They held a ceremony for them in D.C., which is so nice. I think they all got an award for being brave and badass.
Yeah.
Anne went on to college and graduated with a degree in engineering. Her brother, Tom, sadly died in 2009 at only 28 years old, and I'm not sure how. But I feel so bad for this family.
Oh, God, yeah.
He died in Savannah. He lived in Savannah.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then... quick story within a story.
Okay.
It's believed that Tony may be responsible for the disappearance of Jody Huisentruit. If you saw her picture, you would know it. Jody was, yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Huisentr.
Oh, yeah,
Huisentruit. Truitt.
Yes. Oh my God, she's the anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huisentruit. Did I say true? Y'all,
Yeah.
Jody was a 27-year-old morning news anchor for a local news station, KMIT, in Mason City, Iowa. The morning of June 27th, 1995, she didn't show up for work. She usually got there at 4 a.m. to get ready for the 6 a.m. morning show. Her coworker called her, and Jody answered saying, "Crap, overslept. I'm getting ready. I'm leaving now." She never showed up, so someone covered for her on the news, and afterwards they called police to do a welfare check. Police went to her apartment complex and her car was there parked in the parking lot, but all of her belongings were scattered around it. Her purse, her shoes, everything. They also found the car key and it was bent. Like clearly a struggle had happened and she was nowhere to be found.
And still,
Yep. Neighbors heard screams and one saw a car idling in the parking lot. I think a white van. They had a few suspects, but none of them panned out. After Anne's disappearance and rescue, investigators looked at Tony as a possible suspect because of the similarities, like with the car being dragged into a car, clearly leaving her car there. Her stuff was on the ground. But because he had family in nearby Charles City, Iowa, and he often stayed there. I think he was sometimes estranged from his family. So he stayed with his cousins who lived in Charles City.
Yeah.
But they looked into it, and he was in prison at the time of Jody's disappearance for burglaries in the Mason City, Iowa area. But nope. No, he wasn't. That was an oversight. As it turns out, he was not in prison. He had been released from the Iowa prison in April, 2 months before Jody's disappearance.
Oh, that is, then he did it. She's never been seen again. It's like one of those baffling.
Yep. To this day, Jody's case has never been solved. She has never been seen again. It's
so bizarre.
Crazy.
I saw something on her the other day, actually.
I know.
Maybe, when did she go missing? Maybe it was the anniversary. But it was like this news anchor who was loved in her community just never came into work.
1995. It was 1995. But yeah.
What month is what I was saying.
Oh, sorry. June 1995.
Oh, okay. That's probably why I saw it. It was like the,
oh, yeah.
30th. Wait, 20th.
Yeah.
20th anniversary.
No, 30th.
Wait, 2005.
1995.
Oh, 1995. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that is why. And we've gotten a couple of requests to do Jody's case. And I kept coming upon it with this. And I was like, hold on. And I wanted to get Anne's case down. And then I was like, wait, what is the connection? So I Googled it. And I was like, oh, yeah, people do think he's involved. Probably. But it would be interesting to know if he was. That was really before his violent spree started. So, like, what happened? Where is she? He seems like too big of a dipshit to get away with no one finding anything out. I don't know. That's one I'd have to really dig into. Because there was also like a guy she had recently started seeing that they suspected, a guy who like thrown her a birthday party recently that I think liked, I don't know. She was a very cute, very pretty. Yeah. I mean,
That's sad.
I know. So that's the badass story of Anne Sluti, and the very quick sidebar about Jody, who's in true. But it is, 30 years to the day.
He wouldn't admit to that?
No. He won't admit to
30 years to the day. It's June.
Not to the
July.
day. I know. You know what I mean.
Okay.
Close enough.
Right.
30 years and 1 week ago, almost.
Uh-huh.
No, he won't admit to Anne's. He's like, he's a dipshit.
Wow. Anne is a badass. Did you already know you were doing this when I did Tamara and Jackie last week? Because it's kind of similar.
Yeah, I know. Oh. But yeah, I don't know. I can't remember, but she's a badass.
She is a badass. Is he still alive? Can they ask about Jody? You just said he did.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they have, but there's no real evidence other than he was in the area. It's similar.
And he's a piece of shit.
And he's a piece of shit. But they don't have. They've never found her. So what are they going to do? Charge them with something? Patrons: Samantha, Kelp, Nicole, Hannah, Michaela, Katie, Jennifer. Oh my God, this, I'm not even kidding. Jennifer, the next one, Aniston, Adrian. Maybe funny. It's Jennifer Aniston for real.
Oh my God.
And she's
being 2 aliases.
She's being extra supportive by double signing up. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love
your
friends.
Hair.
Tell us about your haircut. I'm sure you haven't told. I don't think it's on record how that haircut came to be. Adrian, Emily, Kimmy, Sandra, LDX13, M. Bennett, 724, Emma James. Oh my God. My niece's name. That's my niece's name.
Okay.
Anyway. Cece, Caroline, Janet, Areli, Vortis, Frankie B, Caitlin, Margaret, Arden, Susie, Carissa, Stephanie, Nicole, Heather, Jen, Abigail, and Gail. Hey.
Thanks, everyone.
Y'all are the tits.
Thank you.
All right. 2 custom shout outs. I think these are the last of the ones that used to be included in Patreon. And then all you people who have paid online, like bought it from our website, y'all's will start next week. We're going one by one. You'll get the only one in those episodes.
Yeah.
The first one is from Rebecca. I think it's you. Hello, PATW besties. Love the podcast. I'm an Alabama girl. Oh my God.
Shut
maybe
up.
it is.
Maybe it is me. Hold on.
You can just say whatever you want. Go ahead. You have the mic.
Yeah. No, I'm shy.
Raised. This is where it becomes not you. unfortunately. Raised in Heflin, Oxford area. What up? I want to shout out my small business, Sleepovers & Co. It's a unique event company created by me and my sweet best friend. We specialize in sleepovers, birthday parties, baby showers, bridal events. This is awesome.
Oh, this is a good idea.
This is a really good idea.
Thank you.
More around the Atlanta. We're going to keep going with that bit. I got to get my son in a little bit.
I know, I'm sorry.
Around the Atlanta, Georgia area. So Atlanta. Check us out at sleepoversandco.atl on Instagram.
Wow.
I just spell everything. It's just easier because I have an accent. Some people, you never know. sleepoversandco.atl on Instagram. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all. We love you, Rebecca.
What a great idea.
That is a great idea. For the parents who don't want to plan shit. Me. Too much. The second one is from Shonda. Hey, y'all. This is Shonda Veroni from Lafayette, Louisiana. Realtor by day, true crime junkie by night.
Hell yeah.
Just wanted to say thanks for keeping me entertained while I drive around showing houses and silently judging humanity. Word. Every episode just confirms what I already knew. People are really the worst. Not my clients, though. So keep spilling the tea and digging up the dirty because I live for the drama, not the trauma. Ooh, I like that. Okay, Shonda, wait. Can we steal that for merch?
I know. Like, you're fantastic.
People asking for merch, working on it. I just don't know, you know?
I need to be doing it.
No, it's fun. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining.
So much.
Thank y'all for listening. We love y'all. You're the best. People are the worst.
Are the worst.